Finding yourself in difficult decisions. All right, so let's think about it. Ever since we were born, we constantly have to make decisions in our lives, right? So I could only think of two instances that we don't make decisions for ourselves, and that is the time when we are babies and the time that we're way too old to be aware of what's surrounding us. And so, yet, making decisions seems to be something very familiar to us, and yet, sometimes when it comes to big and difficult decisions, we don't know how to deal with it or how to decide, make it more easier for us to choose. So, let's think about it. If it was raining outside, right, and you pull out your phone to decide to book Grab. Obviously, you would want to book a Grab car because it'll be safer for you. You wouldn't be wet. Granted, you might get to where you want to go a little bit slower. But then, when you think about it, the benefits of choosing Grab cars outweigh the benefits of choosing Grab bike. You see, with easy decisions, there's always a better option for you to choose. So the decision making is very, very easy. We cannot say the same thing with difficult choices or difficult decisions, because in difficult decisions, sometimes some aspects it is better, but it works in some other parts. I'll tell you a story. So last year, we had a fashion show at the M Gallery in Yên Tử, and we decided to have the catwalk outdoors because the surrounding was very beautiful. The resort is amazing, and the scenery is just breathtaking, right? So we have to have the runway on the outdoors. And so we decided on the night before, we have to get this lighting system up. And the plan was the guy have to work through the night. In the morning, I will come out and check the lighting on the runway, because when the sunrise, the sky would be as bright as when it is in sunset, which is when the show is supposed to take place. Now, little did I know, it was raining the whole night. And when I woke up at 6 a.m. in the morning, this is what I see. So, of course, I was so panicked. I was very much intent. I remember around 10 a.m., I start to have an early lunch with my husband, who is also the designer, and the catwalk directors. And there was a heated debate about what to do with the shows. My husband was adamant about the fact that it would stop raining by the afternoon, so therefore we have to have the show outside. The catwalk director, on the other hand, have different thoughts about it. He was arguing that if we were to have the show outside, right, and if it was to be raining, then you have to hurdle the audience inside. And you know what, like with all the ladies in high heels, they cannot run at all. So we can't risk to have the show like that. Now me, I'm caught in the middle of this. As the producer, which way should I choose? Should I use to my husband and risk having the show outside? Well, the whole point of having the shows outdoor because of the sceneries, and there was a lot of sweat and blood put into this to get the whole show there in Yên Tử, right? If we were to have it indoors, we would have done it in Saigon. But on the other hand, risking to have the audience having a really bad experience is not ideal either. So, what should I do? But let's pause the story for now, and then we'll get back to it later. Right now, I would give you another example so that it's easier for you to be related to, right? So you are now in college, and soon you'll be graduating, and you would have to apply for jobs, right? And so say there are 2 jobs offers. one that is referred by someone you know, maybe your parents, maybe your friends. It's less challenging, but it offers you a little bit less money. And the other one, on the other hand, would require you to move, to relocate to a different locations. It seems it requires you a lot more attention, more challenging. The job seems to be a little bit more difficult, but then it offers you more money. So, what should you choose? Well, in my experience, I could tell you a lot of people would go for the job that is a lot more easier and familiar to them, the job, the referred job. Now, why is this? It is no different than the fact that when you travel overseas, there's a lot of delicacy that you could eat in that country, but lots of people don't choose to eat those food. They go to McDonald's. And why is that? Because McDonald's is something certain, something they are familiar with, right? And because of that, I would call this whole and because of that, we don't want to choose the jobs that require us to get to know the coworker, gets to know our boss, or requires us much more attention. We then choose something more comprehensible to us. Now, I would refer to this as the unknown. The fear of the uncertainty of the outcomes could bring us. And for that reason, lots of us just opt for the option that is very easy for us to comprehend. So how do we then make the decisions, hard decisions, easier? By using the glass half full and half empty analysis. What I mean by that is instead of looking at the negative part of the glass, we focus on the energy, on the positive part. And from that point, you draw out a conclusions, a decisions that is best fit for you. So, I got married 6 years ago. And before I got married, I didn't come out to my parents. I think the reason is only because they are old and a little bit conservative, and it was never a right time for me to do so. And it's not because I'm ashamed of myself, because I'm out with all of my friends and my sister, right? But then when we decided to get married, meaning that I am now facing the choice of come out or not coming out. And so for a gay person, I think coming out to the parents would be the most nerve-wracking experience that he or she would experience. And many nights, I think about the rejections. I think about what this news would affect my parents physically and mentally. And I'm asking myself, am I being too selfish to, exchange their reputations for my own gain? But then again, when I think about it, the more I think about it, the pursuit of happiness is available for everyone, every single one of us, regardless of who we are, regardless of our backgrounds. So the fact that I am happy with my partner, and I choose to live the rest of my life with him, I'm happy with that decision. Therefore, I think my parents should be happy for me as well. And of course, they can reject or disown me, and that's a possibility. But I'm okay with that, right? And luckily, when I came out, my mom, she opened her heart and her arms, and she welcomed us with both hands. My dad, on the other hand, until today, this day, 6 years from our marriage, and we live a very happy marriage. Like I think we're meant for each other. Let's just put it that way. But They, thank you. My dad still struggling with the thoughts of me being with a man instead of with a woman. And really, that is okay because I already prepared for this. And I think coming out is a really long process, and you have to constantly put your efforts into it, day in and day out. And with a little bit of luck, everything gonna pans out in the end. So again, using this the class half empty and half full analysis, I focus on the good outcome, but I also prepare for the worst to come, which is the rejections, and I act upon it. And I think if somebody else were in my shoe, he might not choose to come out because he focused his energy on something totally different. So if you think about it, by using this analysis, unlocks a really cool mystery, and that is for each decision making, the values that it comes with that decision is totally relative to the person who making that decisions. So let's get back to the story of the show. So obviously, I am caught in the middle, right? Now, do I go with my husband? Do I listen to the catwalk director? As a matter of fact, I am the show the producer, so I don't have to listen to either of them. It's my decisions, right? So what I did was I did really want to please my husband, so I continue on preparing the show for the outdoors. But I had to look for another location close by and set up a different stage for that as well. And for me to do that, of course, I have to blow over the budget. But that's okay. That is the fight that I can take to my husband and win, and I know I can win that, right? So, and again, here, when focusing on the outcomes, which is having the shows outside, I then come to the conclusion that this is what I do, even though I have to spend more money, but that is okay. So, I think, I think if you really think about it, the tough choices are something that we have to deal with day in and day out. There's no way that you can escape it, right? So why would you always look into the negative aspect of it? Why don't you just focusing your energy to the good outcomes and from there draw the best decision for you when you're making that decisions? Today, I stand here. I might not be the most successful person on the world. I'm not as rich as Jack Ma, right? But I know exactly who I am. And I know for sure that if life throw me anything, and if I have to make a difficult decisions, I know for the fact that I know how to make it, and I'll be okay with it. So when you exploring your life out there, right, I encourage you to be very much open-minded. Look at the issue in different, many perspectives, and then you listen to advices, but you should phase out the noises, because you are not putting into this world to please everybody. You cannot please the crowd. If you are trying to please the crowd, you would be very much miserable because they would never be happy. And see, like when you understand tough decisions this way, it unlocks a really cool mystery that every decisions that you are making, it gives you the difficult decisions that you have to make. It gives you the power to reason, right? Give you the power to reason. Therefore, it gives you the power to shaping your way of thinking, and in turn, it makes you the person who you are. Now, imagine if everything in life always have a better options, then you would always reach for that one. only choose for that one. But that also means that somebody else put that in there for you. You didn't make that decision. How boring would that be? And who are you at that point, right? So as you grow old, you're probably going to look back into your experience, and you might think, oh, okay, at that point I should have done something a little bit differently. And that is totally okay. That is you getting old and getting mature. That's totally fine. But I can promise you, you don't look back with regrets, because I do believe that when you're making the decision, as long as you are the person who make it, at the time it being made, it's already optimal for you. So, again, focusing on the good aspect of the outcomes when it comes to making decisions. And from there, not only that you'll be able to draw the best decisions for yourself, but you can also prepare for the worst to come with it, okay? Now, by keep on training and doing that, you would put yourself into a driver's seat. And once you are in the driver's seat, once you are in control of your life, then every single decision that you make would be optimal. And that is my lesson to you. Thank you very much.